Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for November 15th. November 15th is the 319th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 320th in leap years, with 46 days remaining to the end of the year.
Today's word is perspective. Perspective can be a noun or an adjective. As a noun, perspective can mean a mental view or a prospect, such as gaining a broader perspective on a situation. Perspective can refer to a visible scene, especially one giving a distinctive impression of distance. In visual art, for example, perspective in a painting will render things nearer the viewer to appear larger, with sharper focus and more distinct colors, whereas things farther away will appear smaller, more indistinct in focus, and more muted coloring. The phenomenon of a vanishing point may be evident. Perspective can refer to the interrelation in which a subject or its parts are mentally viewed, such as placing issues in proper perspective. Perspective can refer to point of view. Perspective can refer to the capacity to view things in their true relation or relative importance, such as trying to maintain one's perspective. You might encounter the term perspective as the name of a telescope lens, but that use is not seen very often these days. As an adjective, perspective can mean of or relating to or seen in perspective, such as a perspective drawing. This word comes to us from Middle French and or Middle English, Latin before that. First documented use of the word perspective is in the 1300s. Perspective.
And with that, this is the birthday of German-born English astronomer and composer William Herschel, born November 15th, 1738. He published catalogs of nebulae and discovered the planet Uranus. I've observed that brilliant people often have more than one field of interest, and William Herschel certainly did. In addition to watching the skies and keeping careful records, he also composed music and played several different instruments. He composed symphonies, sonatas, and things like that. If you are an astronomer by occupation or hobby, you've probably encountered his name, Herschel, in reference to astronomical matters, such things as a crater on the moon. There's a crater on the moon named after him, and an impact basin on Mars, the Herschel Gap in Saturn's rings. He even had an asteroid named after him, and that's not all. William Herschel lived to the age of 83. On November 15, 1806, Lieutenant Zebulon Pike discovered the mountain we now know as Pikes Peak. On November 15, 1864, Union General William Tecumseh Sherman began his march to the sea. This is the birthday of American painter and educator Georgia O'Keeffe, born November 15, 1887. She lived to the age of 98.
And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That description lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page that is called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, Parler, BitChute, and Getter. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.